Listen up. You've been sitting in the ashes of your life, staring at the ruins and waiting for someone to come pull you out. But let me tell you the hard truth, nobody's coming. No miracle, no savior, no easy way out. The only person who can pull you out of that hole is you. Your past is the foundation you're standing on, whether you like it or not. Every experience, every failure, and every triumph has brought you to this exact moment. But the question is, what are you doing with it? Too many people are stuck in the trap of blaming others for where they are. They look at their lives, see what's broken, and point fingers at their parents, their circumstances, their bosses, their exes, anyone but themselves. And while you're busy blaming the world, the truth is slipping through your fingers. You are in control. It's easy to stay a victim. It's comfortable to sit back and tell yourself that it's someone else's fault. You didn't get the opportunities you wanted or the life you thought you deserved. But comfort isn't where growth happens. Blaming others might feel good for a moment, but it chains you to the same spot. It keeps you small, weak, and powerless. Every time you point a finger, you're giving away the one thing you need most to rebuild your life responsibility. Owning your past doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pretending that the bad things didn't happen. Maybe you had people who hurt you. Maybe you grew up in a situation where you didn't have the resources or support you needed. Maybe life hit you with a loss so devastating it feels like you'll never recover. That's real, and no one's saying it's not. But here's the thing, you can't control what happened. You can't rewrite the events of your past, but you can decide how they define you. You can let those moments break you, or you can use them to become stronger. This isn't about fairness. Life isn't fair. Some people start with nothing and climb mountains. Others start with everything and lose it all. Fair or not, the past is done, and no amount of anger or regret will change it. What matters is what you do now. When you own your past, you stop letting it own you. You look at every wound, every mistake, every failure, and you claim it. You say, this is mine. I accept it. Now, what am I going to do with it? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every excuse you make for why you can't move forward is rooted in your refusal to own your past. You say, I can't succeed because of what happened to me, but what you really mean is, I won't succeed because I'm too afraid to take control. Owning your past isn't easy. It's raw, it's ugly, and it's painful. But it's also liberating. When you stop blaming others, you realize how much power you actually have. I think about this, every person you're blaming for your struggles is living their own life, fighting their own battles. They're not sitting around thinking about you. So why are you letting them control your future? Why are you giving them free rent in your mind, letting them dictate how far you go? It's not their responsibility to fix you. It's yours. When you own your past, you start to see your story differently. That failure you keep replaying in your head, it's not the end of the road, it's a lesson. That pain you've been carrying for years, it's not a burden, it's a source of strength. Every setback, every moment of adversity is a tool you can use to build something better. But you'll never pick up those tools if you're too busy blaming someone else for leaving them on the ground. Look in the mirror. That person staring back at you is the one who has to make the choice. Are you going to keep replaying the same tired story about why you can't? Or are you going to rewrite it? Owning your past doesn't erase the hard parts, but it shifts the narrative. You stop being the victim and start being the hero. And heroes don't sit around complaining about what went wrong. They get up and fight for what's right. Stop running from your past. Face it. Own it. It's the first step to rebuilding your life. If you don't take responsibility, no one else will. If you don't claim your power, someone else will control it. Discipline is the backbone of everything you want in life. It's the thing that gets you out of bed when your body says no, the force that pushes you forward when your mind is screaming to stop. Too many people rely on motivation, thinking it's the key to achieving their goals. They wait for that spark, that rush of energy, that fleeting feeling that makes everything seem possible. But motivation is unreliable. It's inconsistent, temporary, and fragile. Discipline, on the other hand, is unshakable. It's the grind, the sweat, the hard choices made day after day, no matter how you feel. When you rely on motivation, you give up control. You're waiting for something external to light a fire under you, and when it doesn't show up, you stall. Motivation is a luxury, discipline is a necessity. Discipline doesn't care about how you feel, and it doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It's there when you're tired, when you're angry, when you're doubting yourself, and when every part of you wants to quit. Discipline is what makes you get up, lace your shoes, and start running even when the last thing you want to do is move. Most people treat discipline like a punishment, like some unbearable burden. But that's because they're focused on the immediate discomfort and not the long-term reward. Discipline is freedom. It's control over your life, your actions, and your outcomes. It's the ability to say, this is who I am, and this is what I do. No matter what, when you choose discipline, you're not giving something up, you're taking something back. You're taking back the power to dictate your own future. The truth is, discipline doesn't come naturally. It's built. It's forged through repetition, through making hard choices over and over until they become second nature. You don't wake up one day with ironclad discipline, you earn it. And you earn it in the moments when it's easiest to walk away, to slack off, to quit. Discipline is built in the decision to get up when the alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. It's built in the choice to eat something healthy when junk food is calling your name. It's built when you show up, even when no one is watching, even when there's no immediate payoff. Every time you follow through on what you said you'd do, you're strengthening your discipline. And every time you give in to excuses, you're weakening it. Discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows through effort and struggle. If you avoid the hard work, if you skip the uncomfortable steps, you'll never develop the strength you need to succeed. Some people will tell you that discipline is restrictive, that it limits your freedom and takes the fun out of life. But those people are missing the point. Discipline doesn't limit you, it empowers you. It gives you control over your habits, your time, and your decisions. Without discipline, you're a slave to your impulses, to your moods, to whatever happens to feel good in the moment. With discipline, you're in charge. You decide what gets done and what doesn't, regardless of how you feel. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem to have it all together. Do you think they got there by waiting for motivation to strike? No, they put in the work day after day, whether they felt like it or not. They didn't wait for inspiration, they created it through action. That's what discipline does, it creates momentum. The more you act, the more you achieve, and the more you achieve, and the more you achieve, the more motivated you feel. But it starts with discipline, not the other way around. Discipline is about commitment. It's about making a promise to yourself and keeping it no matter what. It's about showing up for yourself even when no one else will. It's about proving to yourself over and over that you can be trusted to do what needs to be done. Discipline isn't glamorous, it's not flashy, and it doesn't come with instant gratification. It's the grind, the sweat, the unremarkable actions repeated day in and day out. But those actions add up, they compound. And over time, they lead to something extraordinary. When you choose discipline, you're choosing to take control of your life. You're saying no to excuses, no to distractions, and no to anything that stands in the way of your goals. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's not about never slipping up or never making mistakes. It's about consistency. It's about showing up, doing the work, and pushing forward, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Pain is unavoidable. It's a constant in life, a force that shows up in countless forms, physical, emotional, mental, and reminds you that you're alive. But the problem isn't pain itself, it's how you view it and what you do with it. Most people spend their lives running from pain, trying to escape it, numb it, or pretend it doesn't exist. They see pain as a barrier, something to avoid at all costs. But pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the catalyst for growth. It's the fire that forges strength, the storm that shapes resilience, and the teacher that shows you who you really are. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It doesn't come from easy wins or smooth sailing. Growth is born in discomfort, in struggle, in the moments when you're pushed to your limit and forced to decide whether to break or keep going. Pain strips you down to your core, exposing every weakness, every fear, every doubt. And in that raw, vulnerable state, you have a choice. You can let the pain defeat you, or you can use it to build something stronger. The truth is, pain doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you think it's fair or if you believe you deserve it. Pain is indifferent, relentless, and unyielding. But it's also the one thing that can truly transform you if you let it. When you face pain head on, instead of running from it, you take its power and make it your own. You learn to endure, to adapt, to overcome. Every moment of pain you survive becomes a brick in the foundation of your strength. Pain is a test, a challenge, a proving ground. It asks you how much you're willing to endure to reach your goals. How badly do you want to succeed? How far are you willing to push yourself? Pain isn't there to stop you. It's there to separate those who are serious from those who are just pretending. It's there to weed out the weak, the lazy, the uncommitted. Pain forces you to dig deep to find a reservoir of strength and determination you didn't even know you had. Most people think pain is a sign to quit, a signal that they've reached their limit. But pain is rarely the limit. It's usually just the beginning. It's your body and mind screaming for comfort, for safety, for the easy way out. But if you give in, you'll never know what you're capable of. Pain is temporary. It comes in waves, it ebbs and flows, but it doesn't last forever. What does last is the strength and resilience you gain by pushing through it. Pain isn't just about physical endurance, it's mental as well. The mind will play tricks on you, telling you that you can't take another step, that you can't handle another moment of discomfort. But the mind is a liar. It will try to convince you that pain is unbearable, that it's too much to handle. But the truth is, you're stronger than you think. Your mind sets limits that your body can shatter, if only you have the courage to keep going. Pain also reveals the truth about who you are. It strips away the masks, the excuses, the lies you tell yourself. When you're in pain, there's no hiding, no pretending. It's just you, raw and unfiltered. And in that state, you have an opportunity to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Pain exposes your weaknesses, but it also shows you where you need to grow. It highlights the areas where you're falling short, and it gives you the chance to address them, to strengthen them, to become better. Most people waste their pain. They let it consume them, define them, hold them back. But pain is a resource, a tool, a gift. It's the thing that sets you apart, the thing that makes you tougher, smarter, more capable. Every time you face pain and choose to push through it, you're rewriting the narrative. You're telling yourself, I am stronger than this. I am in control. I will not let this break me. Pain is not something to fear or avoid. It's something to embrace, to welcome, to use. It's the price of progress, the cost of greatness, the pathway to becoming the best version of yourself. Without pain, there's no growth. Without struggle, there's no strength. Every scar, every ache, every moment of discomfort is proof that you're alive, that you're fighting, that you're evolving. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. And when you choose to see pain as an opportunity, you unlock a level of power and resilience that most people never even come close to. Action is everything. It's the dividing line between the life you have and the life you want. Too many people sit around waiting for the perfect moment to start, waiting for the stars to align, for inspiration to strike, or for the circumstances to feel just right. But here's the truth, there's no such thing as the perfect time. Waiting is a trap. Every second you spend planning, overthinking, or hesitating is a second you could have spent building momentum. The only way forward is to take immediate action, no matter how small, no matter how unprepared you feel. Most people get stuck in their heads. They think about what they want. They dream about how great it would be, and they make endless lists of all the steps they'll take when the time is right. But that's not progress. That's procrastination disguised as preparation. Overthinking kills more dreams than failure ever will. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Doubt creeps in, fear takes over, and the mountain starts to look bigger than it really is. Action cuts through all of that. It silences the noise in your head and replaces it with momentum. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. You don't need the perfect plan, the perfect tools, or the perfect circumstances. You just need to move. Start where you are with what you have and do anything that pushes you closer to your goal. It doesn't matter if it's messy, if it's imperfect, or if it feels like you're stumbling in the dark. What matters is that you're taking steps. One step leads to another, and before you know it, you've built momentum. Momentum is the secret weapon that keeps you going when motivation fades and doubt creeps in. When you take action, you break the cycle of fear and hesitation. Fear thrives in the unknown, in the gaps between thought and action. The longer you stay still, the more power fear gains. But the moment you act, you take that power back. Fear loses its grip when you're in motion. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a victory over fear. And with each victory, you gain confidence, clarity, and strength. Action also breeds clarity. You can plan all day, map out every detail, and try to anticipate every obstacle, but you'll never truly know what's ahead until you start moving. Action reveals the path. It shows you what works, what doesn't, and what adjustments you need to make. It's through doing that you learn, grow, and adapt. Waiting for the perfect plan is just another way of avoiding the discomfort of starting. The reality is you'll never have all the answers up front, but you don't need them. The answers come when you're in the middle of work, not before it begins. When you take immediate action, you send a message to yourself and the world you're serious. You're not just talking about change, you're creating it. You're not waiting for permission or for conditions to be ideal. You're stepping up and doing the work, regardless of the circumstances. That kind of mindset is rare, and it's powerful. It separates the doers from the dreamers, the achievers from the excuse makers. Taking action doesn't mean you won't fail. In fact, failure is almost guaranteed at some point. But failure isn't the enemy. Inaction is. Failure is just feedback. It's a sign that you're trying, that you're in the game, that you're learning. Every time you fail, you're one step closer to success because you're gaining the knowledge and experience you need to improve. Failure is a necessary part of the process, and the only way to avoid it is to do nothing. Too many people let the fear of failure keep them stuck. They don't want to look stupid, make mistakes, or face setbacks. But the people who succeed are the ones who fail over and over and keep going anyway. They don't see failure as a reason to stop, they see it as a reason to push harder. Action makes failure irrelevant because every failure is just another step forward. The key is to stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start creating your own. Success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who act. It's not about massive leaps or overnight transformations. It's about small, consistent steps taken every single day. Those steps add up over time, creating progress that compounds and momentum that builds. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. Once you take it, the rest becomes easier. Action is the antidote to excuses, fear, and doubt. It's the force that moves you from where you are to where you want to be. It doesn't matter if the action feels small, insignificant, or imperfect. What matters is that you're moving, and movement creates results. Every great achievement, every massive success started with someone taking a single, imperfect step forward. You have that same ability. The only thing standing between you and your goals is the decision to act. Rebuilding your life is not a one-time event. It's not a grand gesture or a single breakthrough moment. It's a process, a commitment to showing up every day and laying down the bricks, one by one. It doesn't matter how broken things seem right now, how overwhelming the mess is, or how far off the future feels. What matters is that you start, and once you start, you keep going. Consistency is the secret weapon. It's the engine that powers progress, the thing that turns small, repetitive actions into massive, lasting change. Too often, people give up before they even see the results of their efforts. They put in the work for a week, maybe a month, and when they don't see immediate change, they start to doubt. They think it's not working, that it's not worth it, and they fall back into the same patterns that got them stuck in the first place. But rebuilding your life isn't about instant gratification. It's about persistence, patience, and trusting the process, even when the results aren't visible yet. Every brick matters. Every decision you make, every habit you build, every small victory, it all adds up. At first, it might feel like nothing is changing, like you're pouring all this effort into something that isn't moving. But what you don't see is the foundation being built beneath the surface. Rebuilding your life is like planting seeds. You water them, nurture them, and wait, often without any visible signs of growth. But one day, those seeds sprout, and the work you've been putting in all along finally starts to show. There will be days when you feel like quitting, when the weight of rebuilding feels too heavy to carry. On those days, remember, this progress doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fast. It just has to be consistent. Show up, even when you're tired. Do the work, even when it feels pointless. Keep going, even when the finish line seems impossibly far away. Consistency is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not about talent, luck, or even motivation. It's about the ability to keep moving forward, no matter what. The beauty of rebuilding your life is that it's entirely within your control. No one else can do it for you, and no one else can take it away from you. Every brick you lay is a choice, a statement of your commitment to yourself and your future. You don't have to rebuild your life all at once. You don't have to take massive leaps or overhaul everything overnight. You just have to focus on the next brick, the next step, the next decision. There's power in starting small. When you focus on the little things, the daily habits, and the seemingly insignificant actions, you set yourself up for long-term success. Each small win builds momentum. And that momentum carries you forward brick by brick until the life you're building becomes unshakable. The small steps may not feel like much at the time, but they are the foundation of something bigger. They are what create lasting change, the kind that doesn't crumble under pressure or fall apart when life gets tough. You're going to face setbacks, that's a guarantee. There will be moments when the bricks you've laid feel like they've been knocked over, when the progress you've made seems to disappear. But setbacks aren't failures, they're opportunities to learn, to adjust, and to come back stronger. Every time you rebuild after a setback, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of overcoming anything. You're showing yourself that no matter how many times life tries to knock